Mom and Dad, I'm doing fine. You guys are on my mind. You asked me what I wanted to be, and now I think the answer is plain to see. I wanna be famous. I wanna live close to the sun. Oh, pack your bags, cause I've already won. Everything to prove, nothing in my way. I'll get there one day. Cause I wanna be famous. Na 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 na. I wanna be famous. I wanna be famous.
Welcome to the Animation Block. I'm your host, Ryder Mitchell, once again with another installment of the Animation Block. This is episode 9. So we have a really interesting lineup today. A bit more of the outside of the box animation. Stuff that, we don't normally talk about. So I'm really excited to get into this. We've got some fairly Oddparents, some DuckTales 2017. They're doing a big reboot. And, of course, Steven Universe. So we're going to be getting into all of that. But just, overall, not that much of an impactful, exciting animation week. Not all weeks are like that. But there's a lot of big animated movies coming up, so I don't know, maybe in a week or two you'll see a full-on big animation block one. But this is also going to somewhat be our big Halloween one. I mean, there's a chance we'll do a special big Halloween one next week, but who knows. So just in case we don't do a big Halloween one next week, depends on how it goes. Happy Halloween to everyone. I know it's in 1 week, but it's coming up. So, everyone have a good one. Hopefully you'll dress up as some of your favorite animated cartoon characters. But right now, let's kind of get right into all of this. I'm really excited. So yeah, let's start this off with some Steven Universe. So, Steven Universe, a show that I originally thought was nothing special. I thought it was just another Cartoon Network, nothing. Now, I kind of walked into We Bare Bears with that attitude, but the thing is, I ended up starting Steven Universe when they were halfway through Season 2. Why? Why did I do that, you ask? Well, because I was never convinced at all when the show, when the trailers came out, I was never convinced it would be anything good. I know a lot of people love Adventure Time on Cartoon Network. I think that's definitely a modern classic for Cartoon Network. I'm not the biggest fan of that show. I just don't feel like I don't really get a lot out of it. It's not like, I don't know, it doesn't really, the animation doesn't exactly appeal to me visually. And I'm not a big fan. I mean, the story, I don't know, it's just so-so, in my opinion. Now, I'm not saying it's a bad show, I'm just saying it's just not one of my favorites. So, Rebecca Sugar, who I think she executive produced, and I believe she wrote a bunch of episodes, really, for Adventure Time. She kind of brought a style to that show, and I just wasn't the biggest fan, like I said, of Adventure Time. I know a lot of people are though. So when it was announced in 2013 that Rebecca Sugar is creating this new show, it's called Steven Universe. It's based upon the main character's name is based upon her younger brother. Steven. I mean, a lot of people got excited because they were fans of what she was doing on Adventure Time. So for me, I was more caught up in more of the actual classics that I loved that were, going on. I think Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated was just ending that year in 2013. And I was really caught up in that. I was watching Total Drama, All Stars. I mean, I was really into that, and I think that was about all that I was really watching then. Of course, I'd watch the SpongeBob specials or whatever, but just, like I said, I was somewhat awakened, I'd say early 2015 with cartoons, and I really started to catch up a lot on cartoons then. But, like I said, Steven Universe Season 1, didn't really watch it while it was airing. For a good chunk of season 2, I wasn't watching it. But I actually from my good friend's friend, so it's like not really my friend, but my good friend's friend. We were just all hanging out, and he was kind of just, we were just talking about different things in general. I was telling him I had just gotten into this whole thing with YouTube and everything, and I was this was like over a year ago already. So I've been on YouTube over a year now. So it was probably close to a year ago, right around November-ish. And he's like, maybe you should do some cartoon stuff. I've seen that a lot of people are successful with that. And I'm like, I don't know if it's the right fit for my channel. And that was me talking more about Toys with Attitude, my actual channel. Not that this isn't my channel, but, this is a co-partnered channel with Bryce Sharkman. So this is technically not my own complete property. But, on my own channel, I didn't seem like it was the right move. Now, that could eventually change for me there, but as of right now, I'm doing stuff here. But, really, this whole concept of the animation block was really just thought of by Knox, really. And that's usually why he's the host. But, this guy, he was just saying, if you want to do some cartoon stuff, do Steven Universe, it's a lot of fun. I'm like, I don't really know about that. I don't really know. It doesn't look that appealing to me, and I just feel like it's not going to be, I feel like I'm just going to be wasting my time, I'm not a big fan of that stupid humor, And he's like, well, I might look like that, but you got to give it a shot. So, of course, I'm like, all right, whatever. And time goes by, and I think it was maybe right around the time that Flash and Arrow were off air, when they had taken a break. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. had went on their winter hiatus. Once upon a time, when it went on its winter hiatus, I think all that was on was Agent Carter. And I needed something to watch. Seriously, I gotta be honest with you guys, TV gets me through the week. It does. If I didn't have my TV, I don't know where I'd be. I have a show that I pretty much try to unless I've got something to do, I've got something to study for, I've got presentation to prepare for, I'm usually I am watching a show every single night. So you can see that last year, it was rough. I didn't have my Sunday night show, I did not have my, I don't know, Gotham may have been on, but, I'm not the biggest fan of Gotham. So, it was just like, each night, I didn't have any form of entertainment that was fresh and new. So I decided, why don't I take some of this time to catch up on some of my cartoon shows. And, then I flip over to Cartoon Network, because I hadn't been there in a while. And what do I see? Well, nothing that much, nothing that, I felt like all the good stuff was gone. So I decided to check out Steven Universe, and I don't know where I saw the first episode, but I liked it. I thought it was fun. I'm a really big fan of Garnet. I really am a big fan of Garnet. I think she's a lot of fun. Amethyst, pretty fun character. She's kind of the more like loose end kind of stuff, in the area, a little bit more on the loose end. Pearl, a bit more of that stickler, and, Steven, just your average, everyday kid who goes around saving the world, and I don't know, I think as the show gets deeper into, as you get deeper into each season, you actually start to, get into more of the crazier stuff, the bigger story arcs, which is a lot of fun. Now, like I said, when I first entered this show, I did not have high expectations at all. Number one, because I'm not the hugest fan of Adventure Time. That was that. And I don't know, this animation definitely appealed to me a lot more, which I was really happy about. The animation really came through and pulled through for me. Something I very much enjoyed a lot. So, very appealing to the eye. I did last week's episode, I did a whole big section at the end where I was talking about what makes a good or bad cartoon. And one of the elements that makes a good cartoon is if it is appealing to your eyes, if you love seeing it visually. And I really did. I think there's a lot to be there. There's something there. Number two, something that I beyond think what makes the show We Bare Bears work so well is the music they put in the show. Every single track, every single background song, every single montage song is so perfectly done. Now, I thought that was one of the only shows that's really done that, Steven Universe uses the music so well. It's so much to its advantage. So well done, the music. The theme, when I first heard it, I'm like, what is this? What is this, right? And, it's grown on me. I gotta be honest, it's grown on me. It's something that I'll be walking home, or I'll be, I don't know, I'll be doing something, and it'll just be playing in my head, and I'll be like, hey, it's not like my head's getting tired of hearing it. It's not like it's stuck in my head. It's more like, yeah, it's stuck in my head, but I don't care. So I was happy about that, and also just some of the sound effects they have, like the ocean sounds, and I don't know. I think there's somewhat of a cool concept, especially when they get deeper into more of Steven's mother, and how she kind of got involved with all of these the crystal gems, and how her son is now involved with them, and I don't know. I think it's just impactful. It's the message that kind of drives through at the end, and like I said, the big arching story arcs, like I said, they're fun and they're interesting, and there's an actual story to it. So if you guys remember, I'm sure a lot of you do, that Steven Universe Season 2 did end. I think it just ended. It just ended about a week ago. I think the finale was just a week ago. I think it was October 15th, so maybe a little over a week ago. Yeah, it's almost like 10 days. So like a week and a half ago. And I think a lot of people, it left on a big arc. I don't want to spoil anything. I'm not going to really talk about it that much. I don't want to spoil things because, like I said, it's only been a week and a half. And, if you're like me, some people just take their time to watch cartoons because they're busy watching, live action programs. So, Season 3, well, I think there will be a Season 3. I'm pretty sure, I think it was actually already confirmed. So, I think that, from there, I think you're just going to see, well, I guess I really can't talk that much about what I'm going to personally think with Season 3. Here's what I'd like to see happen. More and more crystal gems. I'd love for them to just introduce, a concept of even more and more and more and more. I don't know, I like some of the side characters as well. Like, for example, Steven's dad, he's a lot of fun. I don't know, some of those side characters are always really good. Peridot, she's somewhat newer. That's, kind of ish spoilery territory. They finally captured him and her and everything, but, I don't know. I think that what they were doing at the end of Season 2 really worked for me, and I think it really flipped everything upside down. So I'd say Season 3, I think it's going to be crazy. I think it's going to be simple. Like, the whole show is simple, but it's going to be filled with craziness, if that makes any sense to you guys. So I was really pleased with what we got from there, and I'm really looking forward to Season 3. So when Season 3 does start to air, I think we're going to start doing reviews. Because, like, a Total Drama Redonkulous Race that ended, I still haven't gotten my finale review up. I know it takes time. Hopefully we'll get it up by next weekend. It's just a lot of other things I'm doing with my channel. Haven't had the time. But, I think, really, you're going to just see... you'll probably see some Steven Universe reviews, unless there's another animated show you guys would love to see reviews on, along with these animation blocks. Alright, so next, let's move on to the Fairly Oddparents. So, yeah, I know, it's a bit of a rough transition there, but let's just kind of talk about the Fairly Oddparents. This is probably one of Nickelodeon's longest running shows, and some people actually forget that it's still on air, but it is. I think this show gets a little bit more love on Nickelodeon, more, in the Nickelodeon brand name on Nicktoons, and I think Nick2. So, I think Nicktoons is where basically it's like basically all cartoon shows, except they'll do some reruns of Power Rangers every once in a while, but it's primarily all cartoons. So, I think this show gets a lot of love on there. They introduced a new character, I believe his name was Doug. I'm sorry, not Doug, Sparky. Where did I get Doug from? Sparky, the dog, the magic dog. So that was like the new character, I think, the last season, like it was like season 10. That was like the big deal. that Timmy had finally gotten a dog. Now they are bringing on a new character, and this new character is going to be Timmy's neighbor, who is somehow connected to Dinkelberg. Anybody who's ever connected to Dinkelberg is a lot of fun. Timmy's dad is underratedly probably one of the funniest characters on that show, especially when they do specialized episodes just focusing on him. He's probably one of my favorite characters, Timmy's dad. So, for Dinkelberg being his arch rival, basically Dinkelberg does nothing. Dinkelberg's he's just a great neighbor. But Timmy's dad just feels there's a rivalry there, which is all just already there. There's such a funny concept. So, to have that, and now there's this little girl, not little girl, probably Timmy's age, who's going to be his neighbor. And her name is going to be Chloe. She's blonde, yeah, and supposedly, I'm assuming she's going to find out about Timmy and his godparents. Now, what would be really cool is if she had godparents. We don't know if she will, or if she's just going to be that girl who's like, oh my god, you've got superpowers, almost kind of like Mary Jane to, MJ to Peter Parker when she finds out, oh, you're Spider-Man. It's almost like that girl. I'm not saying that she's going to be a love interest. She could potentially become a love interest. But, I don't know. The weird thing is we've never really seen Timmy grow up. Only in those movies with Drake Bell, which, a little bit strange. But, we've never truly seen Timmy really grow up. So, maybe this is the transition by introducing a female girl character in here. I'm not really sure. I'm just happy that they're trying to, bring a new life and somewhat of a new element to the show. They've done just about everything on the show. Seriously, they've created so many new characters. They've done so many different story arcs. Once Timmy defeats this new villain character, that villain character comes back up, 10 episodes later, in a revenge episode, and Vicky, and Mr. Crocker, and Mr. Crocker's mom, and Chester, and AJ, and it's just, they've done so many episodes. Timmy gets obese, Timmy, I don't know, what's one, with his parents eating garbage, I don't know, there's just all these other ones that are just, anything you can really think of has been done on the show. The cook-off, the fairy prison, anti-fairies, they've done everything. So now, for Timmy to have this female girl neighbor, right? Of course, if she's female, she's a girl, right? Female girl neighbor next door who's going to somehow be involved and be somewhat of a main character now, that's fun. That's really fun. So we'll have to see what happens, really, we will, but I'm really excited for this. If you want more Fairly Odd Parents stuff and news and potentially even reviews, like I said, for Steven Universe, let us know. Because seriously, we are looking for some new animated show to talk about somehow in the place of Total Drama The Redonkulous Race until The Redonkulous Race Season 2 picks up or Total Drama Season 8 picks up. So, if you'd rather see Fairly Odd Parent reviews instead of Steven Universe reviews, let us know. I think we'd be more than happy to do them. Just let us know, and I think there should be a new season of Fairly Odd Parents coming out very soon. So, yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, and make sure you are watching it. And finally, let's end this off with some DuckTales 2017 Reboot. So, soak that in for a minute. DuckTales. I think it was announced back in 2014. It was earlier this year. I'm sorry. It was earlier this year that it was announced that that Disney XD would be hosting this DuckTales 2017 Reboot. So they announced this show way out in advance, almost kind of like what they've done with Guardians of the Galaxy Season 2. The Guardians of the Galaxy TV show, it was a limited time series, apparently. And the second season, it's been renewed for a second season, but that second season's coming out in 2017. That's some time, isn't it? So they've somewhat done that with DuckTales. which is interesting, but I'm really liking that. You want to know why? I think this is going to be Disney XD's big series. What do I mean by that? I think this is going to become Disney XD's long-running series that stays on air for 7-8 years, or no, I'd say 6 to 7 years, unless it becomes insanely popular and pulls a big SpongeBob SquarePants. I think this is going to be the long-running one. Why? I think that they are putting so much time and effort into maybe completing like 50 plus episodes before they air the pilot. Why? Because if you guys didn't know, animation takes such a long time. It is drawn and redrawn and pixelated and then colored and then slide by slide and then kind of mushed together and then slide by slide and then pixelated again and then after edits and then tinting this and shading this, and then once you have a rough cut, then you got to put it through a full processor, and then you got to get this special roundness. It takes time, and this process could take months, years even. So it definitely takes more than just a couple months. It takes a long time. So I feel like if they're announcing this show 2 years in advance, this show is going to be insane. They have to be getting some great voice actors. They've got to be getting some really great story plots. They've got to be getting some, really well-looking animation. I think that's what's really going to happen. And, we know that there'll be, Donald Duck's, nephews, right? And there'll be Scrooge McDuck, who's going to be, fostering them in a way. And I think that's what's really fun about this. Scrooge McDuck, his name is literally Scrooge McDuck, okay? This guy's got some anger problems, but at the same time, he's a nice guy. So, and then he's not a nice guy, but you'll have to see. It's really going to be more about these adventures of the little ducklings, right? And these DuckTales. Seriously, I really recommend watching some of the original stuff. It's a lot of fun. And I don't know. I think they've even done a couple holiday special movies. Mickey's Wonderland, what's it called? It's the big animated Mickey movie from years ago, from like '98, where there's it's like Mickey's Christmas Carols or something like that, and there's a whole story about the ducklings, and I don't know. I think with that you're gonna see a lot of Donald Duck crossover. I think you're gonna see a lot of hopefully Daisy Duck crossover. I don't know. I think you're going to see a lot of that Mickey Mouse World characters cross over. I'm sure, maybe we even see Pluto appear. Maybe we even see Mickey Mouse, kind of babysit him for a day. But, it depends on really what kind of adventures they get into. That's the whole deal with this, though. It's these three little ducks, they get into these big adventures, right? They get into all of these big adventures, and it's like, well, what do we do next? Who knows? Let's go do something else. And it's the DuckTales. This is going to be a big deal. Hopefully, they are doing like 50 plus episodes for like a season 1, and then by the time they're ready to air them, and by the time episode 50 comes out, let's say they've renewed the show by the time episode 50 comes out, it could be late 2018, meaning that they could be ready to premiere the next season of 50 episodes in early 2019. So, it's a long time away, right? It's just as long as seeing, it's just as far away as seeing, Thor Ragnarok or the Untitled Spider-Man reboot or Guardians of the Galaxy 2. But it is coming. That's the fun part. This is coming. It's real. It's something that has been announced. I think Disney is really going to try hard with this one. If you really think about it, Phineas and Ferb was their show. It was their long-running SpongeBob. It was their long-running, I don't know, what could you compare it to on Cartoon Network? Maybe something like Johnny Test, Dexter's Lab, the Powerpuff Girls. It was a big deal for Disney. Now that show just ended. Now I feel like, I forget what, Jeff Swampy Marsh and I forget the other guy's name, but the creators of Phineas and Ferb, I would assume that they would be working on something else that, for Disney, because it was such a big hit. I think right now Disney and Disney XD's big show is Gravity Falls. Now that's a great show. It's just a solid show overall. Now I think that show, it's going to keep going on. It's going to keep going on, but there's going to be a point where it just ends. And that point where it just ends, Disney's going to need somewhere for it to pick up. So maybe they have it planned out where Gravity Falls actually ends right around the end of 2016. Like there's a finale or beginning of 2017. And right then and there, they go ahead and they bring in DuckTales. I think it could work out really well. I don't know. I'm really excited to see what's going to come for that. There was that show, the 7D, which was basically about the Seven Dwarfs. That show was started off at Disney XD, and then it moved to Disney Junior. Yeah, what was going on there? I feel like that show, it was a cool concept. I feel like if it had a bit more of overarching, story arc that was a lot of fun, I would have watched it more. Obviously, I'm not watching that one anymore, really, just because it's on Disney Junior. My point is, I think Disney really needs something else to kind of pull up their animated rankings, because I think live action wise, I think Disney kind of holds that big, children's sitcom area, but they really don't have animated shows that are that great. That new show, Pickle and Peanut, I'm sorry, but I don't see that show going far at all. Animation not that appealing to the eyes, and honestly, it's not that. It's just not that funny. A pickle who can talk, and then this peanut. I think Disney and Disney XD can do a little bit better than that. Seriously, I really just almost sad that that's what they're putting out right now. So hopefully, DuckTales will kind of be that edge that can kind of make them seem a bit more intimidating animation-wise, and actually let them compete a bit more with things like Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network. Nickelodeon, I'm not saying Nickelodeon's got good animated shows. They have that show Breadwinners, not the biggest fan of that. Harvey Beaks, I'm not saying it's the best show in the world, but it's got some, I think the animation's pretty much appealing, and I like the music, and I like the voice, and I kind of like the tone of the show. It's a mellow show, kind of about just having fun with your friends. I'm not saying it's a great show, but I'm saying that there's something to it. I'm saying that Nickelodeon is constantly bringing out more animated products. And why are they doing that? So they can just see which one is a hit or not. Which one's a hit, which one's a miss. A lot of the time they're misses, but there's those few times where it's a full-out, massacre with multiple hits, right in a row. So I think you're going to see some more from Disney. I really do, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun to see it. So let me know in the comments what you guys are thinking about Steven Universe Season 3, Fairly Oddparents Season whatever they're on right now, and this new character, Chloe, and, what else, what's something new that the Fairly Oddparents can do to keep the show fresh, and what about DuckTales? Let me know your top 3 adventures you'd love to see them go on, and things that, you'd love to see them do. And, what are you thinking about the rankings between Disney, Nickelodeon, and Cartoon Network? Which one do you think is providing the best animation content? I'd have to go with Cartoon Network because that's basically what they're known for. But, I think there can be an argument made with Disney XD and then, of course, Nickelodeon. So let me know what you guys think. So, yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Please remember to click, share, like, and subscribe. And make sure you're checking back next week. I can't be 100% sure if we will be doing a big Halloween special next week. Hopefully we will be, but like I said, I don't know. So it all depends. Because next week we would be doing it on Halloween. So it really all depends. But if we don't, have a great Halloween, everybody. And this has been the Animation Block.